Part 1. The Hunt Gone Wrong Dar. Sarah Chen pushed through the amber-colored trees, her boots making soft sounds on the forest floor. She held her scanner close to her chest, checking the readings every few steps. The device beeped quietly as it found new plant samples for her research. Haven's Edge was a beautiful planet. The trees here looked like they were made of golden glass, and they sang soft music when the wind touched them. Sarah had been studying the plants here for 3 months now. She was the only human scientist on this part of the planet most days. She worked alone and liked it that way. But today was different. Today she heard sounds that did not belong in the peaceful forest. Sharp clicking noises came from somewhere ahead. Then came a sound like breaking glass, but louder. Sarah stopped walking and listened carefully. Her heart started beating faster. The clicking sounds were getting closer. Sarah knew what they meant. The Zephyrians were hunting. She had seen them before, but only from far away. The Zephyrians were tall beings that looked like they were made of living crystal. Their bodies caught light and threw it back in rainbow colors. They had long, thin arms and legs, and they moved like dancers. Their faces were beautiful but strange, with large eyes that glowed with inner light. The Zephyrians were known across the galaxy as great hunters. They never missed their target. They never made mistakes. And they never hurt anyone who was not their enemy. Sarah crept forward through the trees. She wanted to see what they were hunting. Maybe it was one of the large deer-like animals that lived in these forests. She had never seen a real Zephyrian hunt before. The clicking sounds grew louder. Sarah could hear their voices now, musical sounds like wind chimes talking to each other. She moved carefully from tree to tree, trying not to make noise. Then she saw them. 6 Zephyrians moved through the forest in perfect formation. Their crystal bodies reflected the golden light from the trees. Each one carried a long weapon that glowed with blue energy. They moved without making any sound at all. But something was wrong. Sarah could feel it in the air. The Zephyrians seemed nervous. Their lights flickered more than usual. Their clicking sounds were sharp and worried. Then Sarah saw what they were chasing. 2 smaller Zephyrians ran ahead of the hunting party. One was clearly very young, maybe a child. The other was larger and moved with the grace of an adult. The child stumbled over roots and rocks. The adult helped the young one keep running. Sarah's blood went cold. The hunters were not hunting animals. They were hunting other Zephyrians. But that made no sense. Zephyrians never hunted their own kind. Never. The child tripped and fell hard against a tree. The crystal tree rang like a bell. The adult, probably the child's mother, turned back to help. She pulled the young one to its feet. "Run, little star," the mother said in the musical Zephyrian language. Sarah's translator device helped her understand the words. Run and do not look back. But the child could not run fast enough. The hunters were getting closer.
Ow.
Their weapons were charging up, making a high singing sound. The blue glow got brighter and brighter. Sarah watched in horror as the lead hunter raised his weapon. The energy bolt would hit the child in seconds. There was nowhere for the little one to hide. That was when the mother did something that changed everything. She threw herself between her child and the energy bolt. The weapon fired. The bolt was meant to hit a small, running target. Instead, it hit the mother full in the chest. But that was not the worst part. The energy bolt bounced off her crystal body and hit one of the amber trees. The tree exploded into pieces. Those pieces hit another tree, which exploded too. The energy bolt bounced again and again, growing stronger. Each time, finally, it bounced right back at the mother. She took the full power of the weapon designed to kill Zephyrians. Her crystal body cracked like broken glass. Light poured out of the cracks, her life force bleeding away. She fell to the ground with a sound like 1,000 windows breaking. The hunters stopped running. They stared at their fallen leader in shock, their weapons powered down. The forest became deadly quiet. The child crawled to its mother's side. "Veltar," it whispered. "Mother, please get up." But Veltar could not get up. Her crystal body was breaking apart piece by piece. Now the light inside her was getting dimmer and dimmer. Sarah looked closer at the weapon that had caused all this damage. Her scientist mind noticed details even while her heart was breaking. The weapon was not Zephyrian technology. She had seen weapons like this before. It was human-made, but it had been changed. Modified, the energy signature was all wrong. Someone had taken a human weapon and made it specifically to hurt Zephyrians, made it to kill them. The hunters began to sing a death song. Their voices joined together in a sad, beautiful melody. It was the song they sang when one of their people was dying. They thought there was nothing they could do to save Veltar, but Sarah knew something they did not know. She stepped out from behind the trees. All 6 hunters immediately pointed their weapons at her. Their crystal bodies flared with angry red light. The child looked up at Sarah with eyes full of fear and hope. "Human," one of the hunters said in broken English, "you did this. Your people made the weapon that killed our matriarch." "No," Sarah said, raising her hands to show she had no weapons. "And I'm sorry, but I can save her." The hunters clicked angrily at each other. Their leader, a tall Zephyrian with silver light inside his crystal body, stepped forward. "Impossible," he said. "No one can heal a shattered crystal matrix. Our own healers cannot do this. How can a soft-skinned human succeed where we fail?" Sarah knelt down next to Veltar. The dying mother's light was almost gone now. Maybe she had minutes left. Maybe less, because Sarah said, pulling her medical scanner from her pack. "Humans are different. We don't just heal our own kind. We learn to heal everyone." She looked up at the circle of hunters surrounding her. Their weapons were still pointed at her heart. "Your people are beautiful," Sarah continued. "You are perfect hunters, perfect artists, perfect in everything you do. But that perfection is also your weakness. You can only fix things that are like you." Sarah activated her medical scanner. It hummed to life and began examining Veltar's broken body. "Humans are not perfect," Sarah said. "We make mistakes. We break things. But because we break things, we learn how to fix them. We learn how to fix anything, even things that are nothing. Like us." The scanner beeped. Sarah looked at the readings and felt her heart skip. This was worse than she had thought. Much worse. "She's dying," the child whispered. "Yes," Sarah said honestly, "but not today. Not if you trust me." The lead hunter's weapon glowed brighter. "If you fail, human, you die with her." Down at Veltar's fading light. Then she looked up at the child's desperate face. Finally, she looked at the weapons pointed at her. "Fair enough," she said, "but you have to let me try." Part 2. The impossible surgery. The Zephyrian hunters looked at each other with their glowing eyes. They clicked and chimed in their musical language. Sarah could not understand everything they said, but she heard words like foolish and death and human lies. The tall hunter with silver light, his name was Kethmer, finally spoke. "We will carry Veltar to your den, human. But if she dies, you die with her. This is our way." Sarah nodded. "I understand, but we need to hurry. Every second counts." Of the hunters carefully lifted Veltar's broken body, her crystal skin was cracked in 100 places. Light leaked out like blood. The child, whose name was Zechtel, walked beside his mother, holding her hand. "Stay strong, little star," Veltar whispered. Her voice sounded like breaking glass. "The human may be our only hope." Sarah led them through the forest to her research station. It was a small building made of metal and glass. Inside, she had all her scientific equipment. She had never used it to help a dying alien before. But today, everything would change. The hunters placed Veltar on Sarah's examination table. The table was too small, but they made it work. Sarah immediately began scanning Veltar with every device she had. What she saw on her screens made her stomach feel sick. "This is impossible," she whispered. Kethmer stepped closer. "What do you see, human?" Sarah pointed at her scanner screen. It showed Veltar's body in different colors. Most of the colors were wrong, dark where they should be bright, broken where they should be whole. The weapon that hit her, Sarah said, it was not just designed to hurt Zephyrians. It was designed to destroy them completely. From the inside, out. She touched different parts of the screen. "Look here. The energy is eating away at her crystal matrix, spreading like a poison through her whole body. Soon it will reach her heart light. When that happens, she dies." Zechtel said quietly. Yes, Sarah said. And there is more. This weapon was made by humans, but changed by someone very smart. Someone who knows both human technology and Zephyrian biology. The hunters clicked angrily. Their lights turned red. Your people planned this, Kethmer said. His weapon began to glow. No, Sarah said firmly. My people did not do this. Some humans did this. Bad humans. There is a difference. She turned back to her screens. The poison energy was spreading. Faster now. Veltar had maybe 20 minutes left. Can you heal her or not? Zechtel asked. The young Zephyrian's light was dim with sadness. Sarah looked at all her medical equipment. She had tools for studying plants. She had basic medical supplies for treating human injuries. She had scanners and computers and laboratory equipment. But she did not have anything designed to fix a dying Zephyrian. Your healers, Sarah said to Kethmer. What would they do? Kethmer's light flickered. They would sing the death song. This injury cannot be healed. No Zephyrian has ever survived a shattered crystal matrix. What about other species? You ever asked for help from other aliens? We do not need help from lesser beings, Kethmer said proudly. Sarah stared at him. Lesser beings? Is that what you think we are? All organic species are inferior to crystal-based life, another hunter said. Your bodies are weak and soft. You die easily, cannot heal properly. Sarah felt anger rise in her chest. But then she looked at Veltar's dying light and pushed the anger away. This was not the time for hurt feelings. You are wrong, she said quietly. Not about being weak. You are right about that. Humans are weak compared to Zephyrians. Are wrong about healing. She pulled up a chair next to Veltar. May I touch her? The hunters raised their weapons again. Touching a Zephyrian without permission was a serious crime. But Veltar opened her glowing eyes. Let her, she whispered. Sarah placed her soft human hand on Veltar's crystal arm. The alien mother's skin was warm and smooth, like polished stone. But Sarah could feel the cracks spreading under her fingers. In human medical school, Sarah said, we learn about all kinds of injuries. Broken bones, damaged organs, poisoned blood. We learn to fix bodies that are hurt in ways we never expected. She activated her scanner and held it over Veltar's chest. But more than that, we learn to think differently. When something is broken in a new way, we find a new way to fix it. Sarah began pulling equipment from her shelves. Medical lasers, tissue regenerators, chemical synthesizers, bioelectric stimulators. The hunters watched in confusion as she connected devices that were never meant to work together. What are you doing? Kethmer asked. Something that has never been done before, Sarah said. I'm going to treat a crystal-based alien with carbon-based medical technology. She began working. First, she used her medical laser to carefully seal some of the worst cracks in Veltar's crystal skin. The laser was designed for human surgery, but Sarah adjusted the frequency to match Zephyrian crystal structure. It worked. The cracks stopped. Spreading in those areas next, she used her bioelectric stimulator. This device was meant to restart human hearts, but Sarah connected it to Veltar's light channels instead. She sent carefully controlled electrical pulses through the alien's body. Veltar's inner light grew a little brighter. Impossible, Kethmer whispered, but Sarah was just getting started. The real problem was the poison energy that was still spreading through Veltar's body. She needed to find a way to neutralize it. Sarah looked at her chemical synthesizer. This machine could create any medicine she programmed into it. But she had never tried to make medicine for an alien before. I need to understand the poison first. She said she took a tiny sample of energy from one of Veltar's cracks. The sample went into her analyzer. The machine worked for several minutes, then displayed results on its screen. Sarah stared at the results. Then she stared some more. What is it? Zechtel asked. The poison, Sarah said slowly. It is not just random destruction. It is very specific. Someone studied Zephyrian biology for years to create this weapon. They know exactly how your peoples. Bada's work. She turned to face the hunters. This was not an accident. Someone wanted to kill Zephyrians. Someone who has been planning this for a long time. Kethmer's light turned deep red with anger. Who would do such a thing? Before Sarah could answer, her communication system started beeping. Someone was trying to contact her research station. Sarah looked at the caller identification. Her face went white. "What is wrong?" Veltar asked weakly. Sarah's hands shook as she reached for the communication controls. The caller ID showed 3 human ships approaching Haven's Edge, but these were not normal research vessels or colony ships. They were military ships. They were broadcasting a signal that Sarah recognized from her worst nightmares. "The Terran Purity Movement," she whispered. "What is that?" Kethmer demanded. Sarah looked at the dying alien mother, then at the child who might lose his parent, then at the hunters who had trusted her to save their leader. "They are humans who believe that. Aliens should not exist," she said. And I think they are the ones who made the weapon that is killing Veltar." The communication system beeped again. This time, a cold human voice filled the room. "Dr. Sarah Chen, this is Colonel Marcus Webb of the Terran Defense Force. We are approaching your position. You will surrender the alien specimens to us immediately. We have important research to conduct." Sarah's blood turned to ice. She knew that voice. She had hoped never to hear it again. "Do not answer," Kethmer said quickly. But it was too late. Colonel Webb's scanners had already detected the Zephyrian life signs in Sarah's laboratory. Dr. Chen, Webb's voice continued, "We can see that you have live alien subjects with you. This is perfect for our needs. We will be landing in 10 minutes. Have the specimens ready for transport?" Sarah looked at Veltar, who was barely holding on to life. She looked at Zechtel, whose eyes were wide with fear. She looked at the hunters, who were raising their weapons toward the sky. 10 minutes. Webb would be here in 10 minutes, and he would want to take Veltar away for his research. Sarah knew what that meant. They would study how their poison weapon worked by watching Veltar die slowly. Unless Sarah could save her first. "Can you heal her in 10 minutes?" Kethmer asked urgently. Sarah looked at her half-finished work. Veltar was stable for now, but still dying. The poison was still spreading. She needed at least an hour to complete the treatment. She did not have an hour. She had 10 minutes. "I do not know," Sarah said honestly, "but I am going to try." Part 3. The conspiracy unfolds. Sarah's hands moved faster than ever before. She connected wires between her medical machines, creating new combinations that no one had ever tried. The bioelectric stimulator hummed as it sent healing energy into Veltar's crystal body. The chemical synthesizer worked overtime, making medicine that had never existed before. "How much time?" Sarah asked, without looking up. Kethmer watched the sky through the window. 8 minutes until the human ships arrive. Veltar's light was getting stronger, but very slowly. The poison was still spreading through her body. Sarah needed more time. "There," she said, connecting the last wire. "This should work." She activated her new medical system. All her machines worked together now, treating Veltar like no alien had ever been treated before. The Crystal Mother's light grew brighter. "It is working," Zechtel said with excitement. But Sarah shook her head. "Not fast enough. The poison is still there. I need to understand it better before I can cure it completely." She took another sample from Veltar's cracked skin and put it in her analyzer. This time, she told the machine to look deeper, to find every detail about the poison energy. The results made Sarah's heart stop. "This is impossible," she whispered. "What do you see?" Kethmer asked. Sarah pointed at her screen. "The poison, it is not just designed to kill Zephyrians. It is designed to kill specific Zephyrians." The hunters clicked in confusion. "What does this mean?" "It means someone has been studying your people for years. They know your individual biology. This weapon was made specifically to kill Veltar." The room became very quiet. Outside, they could hear the sound of ships landing. "Why would someone want to kill me?" Veltar asked weakly. Before Sarah could answer, her laboratory door exploded inward. 6 human soldiers in black armor rushed inside, pointing energy weapons at everyone. Behind them walked Colonel Marcus Webb. Sarah had not seen Webb for 5 years, but he looked exactly the same. tall and thin, with cold gray eyes and silver hair. He wore a black uniform with no decorations. He smiled when he saw Sarah, but it was not a friendly smile. "Hello, Dr. Chen," Webb said. "It has been too long." "Not long enough," Sarah replied. She stepped between Webb and Veltar. Webb looked. Around the laboratory, he saw the Zephyrian hunters, with their weapons ready. He saw the dying alien mother on the medical table. He saw the young Zephyrian child hiding behind Sarah. "Perfect," Webb said. "You have already gathered our test subjects for us." "Test subjects?" Kethmer demanded. His crystal body flared with angry red light. Webb turned to face the Zephyrian. "Leader, yes. We need to study how our new weapons work. Your matriarch there has been exposed to our latest bioweapon. We need to watch how she dies so we can improve the weapon for future use." Sarah felt sick. "You are monsters." "We are patriots," Webb said calmly. "Humanity is the greatest species in the galaxy. We should not have to share space with inferior alien races." He gestured to his soldiers. "Secure the specimens. Kill anyone who resists." The soldiers raised their weapons. But the Zephyrian hunters were faster. Crystal blades appeared in their hands, glowing with blue energy. The two groups faced each other in the small laboratory. "Wait," Sarah said loudly. "What?" "Before you start shooting, Webb, tell me something. How did you know to find us here?" Webb smiled his cold smile. "We have been watching this planet for months. We planted our weapon in the Zephyrian hunting ground and waited for the right target. We wanted to kill Veltar specifically, of course. She's the matriarch of the largest Zephyrian clan. When she dies, her people will be weak and confused. Perfect time for us to attack their homeworld." Sarah felt horror wash over her. "You are planning to attack the Zephyrian homeworld, not just theirs?" Webb said proudly. "We have weapons designed for every major alien species. The insect-like Krathri, the water-breathing equines, the energy beings of Nexus Prime. We have studied them all. We know how to kill them all." He pulled out a small device and showed it to Sarah. "This contains the locations of our hidden weapon platforms throughout the galaxy. In 72 hours, we will activate all of them at once. Every alien homeworld will be sterilized. Humanity will finally be alone in the galaxy, as we should be." Kethmer's light turned from red to white-hot with rage. "You would commit genocide against billions of innocent beings." "Genocide is such an ugly word," Webb said. "We prefer to call it species purification." Sarah looked at the device in Webb's hand. Then she looked at Veltar, who was still fighting for her life. Then she looked at little Zectel, who might grow up in a galaxy where his people no longer existed. "I will not let you do this," Sarah said. Webb laughed. "You cannot stop us, Dr. Chen. You are one human with some alien pets. You're an entire military organization with weapons you cannot imagine." "Maybe," Sarah said, "but I have something you do not have." "What is that?" Sarah looked at the Zephyrian hunters, who were still ready to fight despite being outnumbered. She looked at Veltar, who was using her last strength to protect her child. She looked at Zectel, who trusted Sarah to save his mother. "I have friends," Sarah said. Webb's smile disappeared. "Aliens are not friends. They are resources to be used or obstacles to be removed." "That is where you are wrong," Sarah said. She turned to Kethmer. "Do you trust me?" The Zephyrian leader looked at Sarah. For a long moment, his people had always believed they were superior to other species. They had never asked for help from aliens before, but Sarah had been trying to save Veltar's life. She had risked her own safety to help them. "I trust you," Kethmer said finally. Sarah nodded. Then she did something that shocked everyone in the room. She grabbed one of her medical devices and pointed it at herself. "Dr. Chen, what are you doing?" Webb asked. "Something that has never been done before," Sarah said. "Kethmer, I need you to help me. I am going to modify my own biology." "That is impossible," Webb said. "Humans cannot be modified to match alien biology." "Wrong," Sarah said. She activated the device. "Humans can be modified to match anything. We're the most adaptable species in the galaxy." The device began changing Sarah's nervous system. It was incredibly painful, but she held on. She was linking her human brain to Zephyrian crystal technology. "Stop her," Webb shouted to his soldiers. But the Zephyrian hunters moved first. Crystal blades met energy weapons in a battle that lit up the small laboratory. The hunters were outnumbered, but they fought with the skill of perfect warriors. Meanwhile, Sarah continued her dangerous experiment. She was creating a connection between her human mind and Veltar's crystal matrix. If it worked, she could heal the alien mother from the inside. If it failed, both of them would die. Sarah, Veltar whispered. This is too dangerous. Maybe, Sarah said through gritted teeth. The pain was getting worse. But someone has to stop Webb. Someone has to save your people. And all the other alien peoples he wants to kill. The neural link activated. Suddenly, Sarah could feel Veltar's thoughts. She could sense the poison spreading through the alien's body. She could understand Zephyrian biology in a way no human had ever done before. But more than that, she could feel something else. Through Veltar's connection to her people, Sarah could sense other Zephyrians across the galaxy. She could feel their fear as they sensed their matriarch dying.
Webb.
Sci-Fi. They now glowed with the same inner light as Zephyrian eyes. You made one big mistake. What mistake? Webb demanded. His soldiers were still fighting the hunters, but the battle was even. Sarah smiled. You assumed I would only try to heal one alien? She reached out with her modified mind, following the neural pathways that connected all Zephyrians. Through Veltar, she could touch the minds of Zephyrians on dozens of worlds, and she began to warn them. Not just about the poison weapon, about all of Webb's weapons, about the planned genocide, about the hidden weapon platforms that would activate in 72 hours. What are you doing? Webb shouted. Saving the galaxy, Sarah said. One species at a time. Webb raised his own weapon and pointed it at Sarah's head. Stop now, or I will kill you. But before he could fire, Zechtel did something brave and foolish. The young Zephyrian jumped between Sarah and Webb's weapon. Do not hurt the human who saved my mother, Zechtel said. Webb's finger was already on the trigger. The weapon fired, but instead of hitting the child, the energy bolt hit one of Sarah's medical machines. The machine exploded, sending sparks flying everywhere. The laboratory's lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light, in the confusion. Sarah felt her neural link with Veltar growing stronger. She could feel the alien mother's strength returning as the poison finally began to retreat. But she could also feel something else. Through the Zephyrian network, she sensed other alien species. Akrathri, the Aquens, the energy beings of Nexus Prime. And they were all in terrible danger. Webb, Sarah said, standing up slowly. Her human body now moved with some of the grace of a Zephyrian. How many species are you planning to kill? Webb smiled his cold smile again. All of them, Dr. Chen. Every single non-human species in the galaxy. Humanity will be alone at last. Sarah looked around the battle-torn laboratory. The Zephyrian hunters were still fighting Webb's soldiers. Veltar was beginning to sit up, her strength finally returning. Zechtel stood close to Sarah, trusting her to protect him. Sarah realized that this was bigger than... Part 4. The Battle for Two Worlds. The red emergency lights flickered as the battle continued in Sarah's laboratory. Kethmer's crystal blade clashed with a soldier's energy weapon, sending sparks flying across the room. The other Zephyrian hunters moved like dancers, their weapons cutting through the air with deadly precision. But Webb's soldiers had better armor and more powerful guns. Slowly, the humans were pushing the aliens back. Sarah felt Veltara's hand touch her arm. The alien mother was sitting up now, her crystal body glowing brighter than before. The poison was almost gone. The neural link, Veltar said softly, can feel our people across the stars. They are coming to help us. Through their shared connection, Sarah could sense Zephyrian ships racing through space toward Haven's edge, but they were still hours away, too far to help with the current battle. Webb noticed that Veltar was recovering. His cold eyes narrowed. With anger, impossible, he said. Our weapon was perfect. She should be dead by now. Your weapon was good, Sarah admitted. But you forgot something important. What? Sarah stood up slowly. Her human body felt different now, stronger, more balanced. The neural link with Veltar had changed her in ways she was still discovering. You forgot that humans are really good at breaking things, Sarah said. And when we break something, we learn how to fix it. Webb raised his weapon again. It does not matter. Even if you saved one alien, we still have weapons pointed at every major alien world in the galaxy. In 60 hours, they will all activate. 60 hours? Sarah asked. The countdown started when you began interfering with our plans. Every minute you delay us, more weapon systems come online. Sarah felt a chill of fear. Through her neural link, she could sense millions of alien beings across the galaxy, all going about their normal lives. They had no idea that death was coming for them. Why? She asked. Why do you hate aliens so much? Webb's face twisted with disgust. Because they make humanity weak. Before we met other species, humans were strong, explored, we conquered, we took what we wanted. He gestured around the laboratory. Now look at us. Make friends with crystal people. We save their lives, care about their feelings. We have become soft. Sarah shook her head. We have become better. We've become pets, Webb snapped. Humanity should rule the galaxy, not share it. While they talked, Sarah noticed something through her enhanced senses. The neural link with Veltar was growing stronger, and through Veltar, she could feel other Zephyrians connecting to the network, not just the ones on ships coming to help. Zephyrians on other worlds were joining the mental link too, hundreds of them, and thousands, and they were connecting to other species. Sarah gasped as her mind suddenly filled with alien thoughts. The insect-like Krathri were sharing information about Webb's weapon platforms. The water-breathing Aquans were reporting strange activities in their star systems. The energy beings of Nexus Prime were detecting unusual technology on their borders. What is happening to you? Webb demanded, seeing Sarah's glowing eyes get brighter. I am learning, Sarah said. Learning about every species you want to kill. Through the growing neural network, Sarah could see Webb's entire plan. Hidden weapon platforms orbited alien worlds throughout the galaxy. Each platform was designed to release a specific bioweapon that would kill only one species, leaving their planets empty for human colonization. But she also saw something Webb did not expect. The alien species were talking to each other now. They were sharing information. They were preparing to defend themselves. It is too late, Webb said. Even if the aliens know about our weapons, they cannot stop them. The platforms are hidden and heavily defended. Sarah smiled. Maybe they cannot stop them, but I can. How? Sarah reached out with her modified mind, following the neural pathways that now connected her to millions of alien beings. Through them, she could sense the hidden weapon platforms. She could feel their electronic signatures, and she could access their computer systems. You made another mistake, Webb, Sarah said. You used human technology for your weapons. And I understand human technology very well. She closed her eyes and concentrated. Through the neural network, she began sending commands to the weapon platforms. Not to destroy them, that might cause explosions that would hurt innocent people. Instead, she began reprogramming them. Stop her, Webb shouted to his soldiers, but the Zephyrian hunters had been fighting back while Sarah worked. Kethmer's blade cut through a soldier's weapon. Another hunter used his crystal body to reflect an energy bolt back at its shooter. Little Zechtel surprised everyone by picking up one of Sarah's medical devices and throwing it at a soldier. The device hit the human in the helmet, making him stumble backward. Good throw, little star, Veltar said proudly. Sarah continued working on the weapon platforms. She could feel her human mind stretching to its limits as she tried to reprogram hundreds of complex systems at once. The neural link with Veltar helped, but it was still incredibly difficult. Status report, Webb said into his communication device. A voice answered from his ship. Colonel, we are detecting massive alien fleet movements throughout the galaxy. Every major species is mobilizing their military forces. Webb's face went pale. All of them. Yes, sir. It appears they know about our operation. Sarah opened her eyes and looked at Webb. Surprise. Webb grabbed his communication device. Activate all weapon platforms immediately. Do not wait for the countdown, sir. We cannot. Someone is jamming our signals to the platforms. Sarah stood up and walked toward Webb. Her human body moved with alien grace now, and her eyes glowed with inner light like a Zephyrian's. That someone is me, she said. Webb backed away from her. What are you? I am still human, Sarah said, but I am also something new, something that has never existed before. Through her neural link, she could feel alien fleets jumping to faster than light speed, racing toward the hidden weapon platforms, Zephyrian crystal ships, Krathari hive vessels, Aquan bioships, and dozens of other species she had never seen. Before I am a bridge, Sarah continued, a connection between humanity and every other species in the galaxy. Webb raised his weapon one final time. And you are a traitor to your own species? No, Sarah said sadly. I'm trying to save my species from people like you. Before Webb could fire, the laboratory's main door exploded inward again. But this time, it was not human soldiers who entered. It was Captain Maria Santos of the Human Colonial Defense Force, followed by 6 Marines in bright blue armor. Colonel Webb, Captain Santos said, you are under arrest for crimes against humanity and violation of galactic peace treaties. Webb spun around to face the new arrivals. Captain Santos, how did you find us? Dr. Chen sent us a very interesting message about your activities, along with complete evidence of your genocide plans. Sarah had used her neural link to send information not just to alien species, but to loyal human military forces as well. The evidence of Webb's crimes was now in the hands of every major government in human space. But you cannot stop us, Webb said, desperately. Our organization has members throughout human space. Even if you arrest me, others will continue our work. I am afraid not, Santos said. She held up a communication device. Your entire organization has been rounded up based on the evidence Dr. Chen provided. It is over, Webb. Webb looked around the laboratory. His soldiers were defeated. His plans were ruined. His weapon platforms were being destroyed by alien fleets across the galaxy. But he had one last trick. He pulled out a small device that Sarah recognized, the same one he had shown her earlier. But now she could see it more clearly with her enhanced senses. This is not just a list of weapon platforms, Webb said with his cold smile. This is a detonator. If I cannot kill the aliens slowly with bioweapons, I will kill them quickly with antimatter bombs. Sarah's blood turned to ice. Through her neural link, she could sense the alien fleets approaching the weapon platforms. If Webb activated antimatter bombs now, millions of aliens would die in the explosions. Webb, do not do this, Captain Santos said. Think about what you are doing. I am saving humanity, Webb replied. He raised the detonator. Sarah knew she had only seconds to act. Through her neural link, she reached out to every alien mind she could touch. Zephyrians, Krathari, Aquins, and dozens of other species. Get away from the weapon platforms, she sent to them. Bombs. Get away now. But even as she warned them, she knew it was too late. The alien fleets were too close to the platforms. Could not escape in time. Webb's finger moved toward the detonation button. That was when Veltar did something amazing. The alien mother reached out with her own mind, connecting not just to Sarah's neural link, but directly to Webb's detonator. Her crystal-based consciousness interfaced with the human technology in a way that should have been impossible. What are you doing? Webb shouted. Saving both our peoples, Veltar said. Instead of detonating the antimatter bombs, she reprogrammed them. The bombs became beacons, broadcasting the location of every hidden weapon platform in the galaxy. Now the alien fleets could find and safely destroy the platforms without risking explosion. Webb stared at his useless detonator. Impossible, Sarah smiled. There is that word again. Captain Santos and her Marines quickly surrounded Webb and his. Part 5. The New Alliance, 3 months after the battle in Sarah's laboratory. Haven's Edge looked completely different. Where once there had been only Sarah's small research station, now there was a growing city. Humans and aliens worked together to build new homes, laboratories, and meeting halls. The crystal trees of the forest grew alongside human-planted gardens, creating a strange and beautiful landscape. Sarah stood on the balcony of the new Interspecies Medical Center, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors of gold and purple. Her eyes still glowed with the soft inner light she had gained from her neural link with Veltar, but she had learned to control it now. "The building looks good," said a musical voice behind her. Sarah turned to see Veltar approaching. The Zephyrian Mother walked without any trace of her old injuries. Her crystal body was whole and strong again, though thin lines of silver marked where Sarah's medical devices had sealed the worst cracks. Veltar called them her courage scars. "It is better than I hoped," Sarah agreed. "When I first suggested building a medical center for all species, I thought maybe a few governments would be interested. Instead, we have representatives from 47 different species," Veltar said with pride, "and more arriving every day." Through the neural network that still connected them, Sarah could feel Veltar's happiness. It was a warm, crystalline feeling that always made Sarah smile. The network had grown far beyond what either of them had expected. What started as an emergency medical link between one human and one Zephyrian had become something much larger. Thousands of beings from dozens of species could now share thoughts, feelings, and knowledge across the galaxy. Not everyone joined the network. Many beings preferred to keep their thoughts private, and Sarah respected that choice. But those who did join found that they could understand other species in ways that had never been possible before. "Dr. Chen." A young voice called from the medical center. Sarah and Veltar went inside to find Zectel waiting for them. The young Zephyrian had grown taller in the past 3 months, and his inner light was brighter and more confident. "What is it, little star?" Veltar asked her son. "The new students have arrived," Zectel said excitedly. "Humans and aliens who want to learn interspecies medicine. Captain Santos brought them on her ship." Sarah smiled. Captain Santos had become a regular visitor to Haven's Edge, bringing supplies and new people who wanted to be part of the growing interspecies community. "How many this time?" Sarah asked. 23, Zectel said, "including a Krathri doctor who knows how to heal broken hive minds, and an Aquan healer who can regrow lost limbs using water song techniques." Sarah felt excitement rise in her chest. Each new arrival brought knowledge that could help save lives across the galaxy. The medical techniques they were developing here combined the best of every species' healing traditions. "I should go welcome them," Sarah said. "We should go welcome them," Veltar corrected gently. They walked together through the medical center. The building was designed to accommodate many different types of beings. There were crystal growth chambers for Zephyrians, water-filled rooms for Aquans, low-gravity spaces for the bird-like Skyborn, and dozens of other specialized areas. In the main reception hall, Sarah found the new arrivals talking excitedly with some of the current students. Humans sat next to insect-like Krathri, discussing surgical techniques. A group of equines shared water songs with some Zephyrian crystal singers, creating beautiful music that helped both species heal faster. Captain Santos saw Sarah and walked over. "Dr. Chen, I have good news and strange news." "Good news first," Sarah said. "Webb and his organization have been completely disbanded. The last of his weapon platforms was destroyed yesterday. The galaxy is officially safe from the Terran Purity movement." Sarah felt relief wash over her. For 3 months, she had worried that some of Webb's followers might try to continue his work. Now that threat was finally over. "What is the strange news?" Veltar asked. Captain Santos smiled. "The Galactic Council wants to make Haven's Edge an official neutral world. They want to put their new Interspecies Cooperation Center here." Sarah blinked in surprise. "Here? But we are just a small colony." "Not anymore," Santos said. What you have built here has become a symbol for the entire galaxy. A place where any species can come to learn, to heal, and to make friends with beings completely different from themselves.
Eru.
Her neural link, Sarah could feel surprise and pride from Veltar. The Zephyrian mother had never expected their small medical emergency to grow into something so important. There is more, Santos continued. They want you to head the new center. Dr. Chen, you would be the first human to hold such a position. Sarah looked around the reception hall. She saw young beings from many species learning to work together. She saw former enemies becoming friends. She saw the beginning of something that could change the galaxy forever. I accept, she said. Only if Veltar is my co-director. Veltar's crystal body flared with surprised light. Sarah, I am not qualified for such a position. You are the most qualified being I know, Sarah said firmly. You taught me that healing is not just about fixing bodies. It is about building trust between people who are different from each other. Captain Santos nodded approvingly. The council hoped you would suggest that. They believe human adaptability combined with Zephyrian wisdom would make an excellent leadership team. That evening, Sarah and Veltar walked together through the gardens outside the medical center. The alien plants and human plants grew side by side, creating new combinations that were more beautiful than either species could have grown alone. Do you think we can really do this? Veltar asked. Build a galaxy where all species live in peace? Terra looked up at the stars. Through her neural network, she could feel the thoughts and dreams of beings across the galaxy. There was still fear and mistrust in many places. There were still people like Webb who believed their species was superior to all others. But there was also hope and friendship, and the growing understanding that different did not mean enemy. I think we can try, Sarah said. And trying is what humans do best. Veltar's crystal body chimed softly with laughter. And what do Zephyrians do? Best, you never give up, Sarah said. You never stop believing that perfect harmony is possible. They reached the memorial garden that had been built to honor all the beings who had died in Webb's attacks. Flowers from dozens of worlds grew here, tended by volunteers from many species. In the center of the garden stood a statue showing a human woman and an alien mother holding hands, while a young alien child played at their feet. The inscription was written in 47 different languages. But they all said the same thing. When we heal each other, we heal the galaxy. As they stood in the peaceful garden, Sarah felt a familiar presence in her mind. It was Zectel, connecting to their neural network from somewhere in the medical center. Mother, Dr. Chen, his young voice said in their thoughts. The new students want to know if you will teach them the harmony technique tomorrow. The harmony technique was something Sarah and Veltar had developed together. It allowed beings from different species to temporarily share their healing abilities, making them all stronger healers than they could be alone. Of course, Sarah replied through the network. Tell them we will meet in the Crystal Garden at sunrise. And Zecto Veltar added, remind them that healing is not about being perfect. It is about caring enough to try. After Zectel's presence faded from the network, Sarah and Veltar continued their walk in comfortable silence. Around them, the gardens buzzed quietly with the sound of nocturnal creatures from many worlds. Sarah Veltar said finally, do you ever regret what happened? To you? The changes in your body and mind? Sarah considered the question carefully. The neural link had changed her in ways she was still discovering. She could sense emotions and thoughts that no pure human had ever experienced. Her body moved with alien grace and her eyes glowed with light that came from another species entirely. But she could also heal beings that no one else could save. She could understand languages without learning them. She could feel the hopes and dreams of millions, of beings across the galaxy. No, she said finally. I do not regret it. I am still human, but I am also something new. Something that could only exist because humans and aliens chose to trust each other. Veltar's crystal body hummed with contentment. You are a bridge between worlds. We are a bridge between worlds, Sarah corrected. This only works because we do it together. They reached the edge of the garden, where the lights of the growing city twinkled like earthbound stars. Humans and aliens moved through the streets, going about their evening activities. Children from many species played together in the parks, their laughter mixing into a sound that belonged to no single world. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, Veltar said. Yes, Sarah agreed, but we will face them together. All of us, every species, every world. She reached out with her mind, touching the neural network that now connected beings across the galaxy. She felt their hopes, their fears, their determination to build something better than what had come before. The galaxy is vast, Sarah said. Softly, there are billions of worlds, trillions of beings. We have barely begun to understand how many different forms life can take. And Veltar prompted,